Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was one of the most influential leaders to emerge from the 20th century. He was a man who held no governmental office. He was not the president of a country, nor was he a man of great wealth or the CEO of a major corporation. He was, in fact, a preacher, an American Baptist minister. Yet he influenced society in the United States, the government of the United States, and its laws and regulations, and even the behavior of corporate America, perhaps more than any single individual since the founding of the nation. His influence, indeed, was worldwide, spreading to each corner of the globe like the wind. Contemporary concepts of human rights, civil liberty, and individual and group freedom are inextricably linked to this man and his legacy. And, of course, his life ended in tragedy and assassination. In the immediate aftermath of his death, his message of peace and reconciliation seemed to be lost as riots tore apart large parts of many major cities in the United States. A few places were spared when brave civic leaders stepped forward and walked into the communities most affected, telling all who would listen that the message of Martin Luther King Jr. was not lost, and that his work should be continued. So, we have two purposes in this study that I am about to present to you today. The first is to give you a glimpse into the soul of this man, a new eyewitness report that you can see firsthand, not a recounted memory of something that someone saw or heard. The second purpose of this study is to address the mystery associated with Martin Luther King's death. According to the official historical record, Martin Luther King Jr. was shot by a lone gunman at 6:01 in the evening on April 4th, 1968, while he stood on the second floor of the Lorraine Motel balcony in Memphis, Tennessee. He died in hospital an hour later, and 2 months later, James Earl Ray, an escaped convict, was captured in London, extradited to Tennessee, and charged with the murder of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The big question that has remained unanswered throughout all the years since the assassination is whether or not whoever did shoot Martin Luther King Jr. acted alone. That is, was there a larger conspiracy to assassinate the man who wanted to change so much of American society so quickly? Well, today, I will show you results of a new remote viewing exploration into the mind and death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I am Courtney Brown, director of the Farsight Institute, the largest and most respected civilian venue for full public projects using remote viewing, as it is done using U.S. military or military-derived methodologies. In terms of background, remote viewing is a mental process that allows highly trained individuals to accurately perceive what are called targets, which are places, events, and people across time and space. Now, people who use these procedures are called remote viewers, and when they are really good, they can describe such things in great detail without being told anything in advance about what they are assigned to perceive, a condition known as working blind. There are a few highly trained remote viewers in the world today, and they are capable of supplying perceptual data that are what some call scary good. In late 2015, I enlisted the help of a tremendously gifted remote viewer who has had more one-on-one training in advanced scientific remote viewing than anyone I know, PrinCess Jeaneé, to work on this new project. Now, much of her previous work has been featured on the website for the Farsight Institute in the Young Masters area. She has developed a following and represents a new generation of young remote viewers who train intensively and continually, week after week, for a long time at the Farsight Institute until they reach the level that we like to call scary good. PrinCess passed that point long ago, and in my view, you will probably want to be sitting down and attentive when, in just a few minutes, she shows you, well, you will see. To work full projects as this one, Viewers need to be capable of conducting remote viewing sessions using paper and pen, as well as recording them live on video while standing in front of a green screen or dry erase board. The paper and pen sessions are normally done as warm-ups to the video sessions. As always, all remote viewing is done totally blind at the Farsight Institute. Before beginning her work for this project, PrinCess was only told that there is a target, and she should remote view it, nothing else. As with all of our recent projects done at the Farsight Institute, this project is essentially a video remote viewing project. That is, the core data for this project were recorded live using video. Also, all remote viewing sessions for this project were conducted solo. There were no camera people, remote viewing monitors, or anyone else present while the sessions were being done who could have influenced PrinCess when she was doing her work. Everything you are about to see was obtained solely by the remote viewer herself, working all alone while she was completely blind to the target. Now, remote viewing perceptions are essentially eyewitness reports, but better. Remote viewers can dive deeply into events in a manner that would not be possible for a physical eyewitness. But, as with all eyewitnesses, the better the eyewitness, the more likely that the eyewitness reports will turn out to be accurate. Remote viewing data, when done well, really can be very persuasive, especially since much of the data can be compared with known aspects of the physical elements for a target. There is no reason to believe any new data offered by anyone unless the data for the known elements are correct. Only viewers who can do this well and consistently can work on Farsight projects, and there are only a few such viewers alive today who can work at that level. But such viewers do exist, and as you are about to see for yourself, PrinCess is one of them. I don't have much time today to go into much of the background of the remote viewing phenomenon itself, so if you want more of that, I suggest that you go to the website for the Farsight Institute and explore what is there. You will find free instructional materials, lots of projects, and all sorts of resources. Perhaps the most important event in Martin Luther King's life was a 17-minute address that he gave while standing in front of the Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. during a major march and rally called the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom, which took place on August 28, 1963. Now, a major purpose of the march was to dramatize the conditions of African Americans, especially in the southern states, during the period of racial segregation. The address was subsequently called the I Have a Dream speech. The numbers in attendance could only be described as an ocean of people as far as the eye could see. The address, some of which was spontaneous in the sense that Martin Luther King at times departed from prepared statements, was riveting beyond measure. These days, it seems as if an entire generation of young people in America and elsewhere need to be reacquainted with the man who gave that speech. The speech that gave verbal direction to the political and social changes that our planetary society would experience in the years that followed. So it seems appropriate that we begin here with a new eyewitness account of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. giving that speech. But there is more. A remote viewer, when really good, can perceive more than just a physical person. A remote viewer can go into the mind of a person and report what that person is like deep down. Honestly, it is better for you just to see it for yourself. Remember that everything you are about to see and hear was recorded live, totally solo and unrehearsed. This is exactly as it happened.
I seem to be in some type of, it's a lot of land, and there's some water going on. It seems to be a bit of a urban or a city-like environment. It's got a lot of buildings, just a small body of water. It's not like an ocean, maybe a bay or a river of some sort. In the central location, it's kind of there's a lot of tall buildings surrounding. It's like almost in a circle, like the buildings literally surround it while the city is out and around it. The tallest buildings are very oddly shaped. It's kind of, well, I can't really describe the shape, but they're not your average shaped building. It's there's a lot of foliage, and there's a lot of, it's a naturally man-made environment. It's got some it's a very warm place, not too cold. Let me see. There's I'm gonna take a look. I'm gonna kind of take a bigger look over everything above me or below me. I'm gonna go up about 1,000 feet and see. As I look down, there's a lot of foliage, a lot of open area, kind of wide spaces, a lot of structures. You can see the city and the urban environment from up here. It's not much difference from what I can see right in front of it. It's just really spaced out, really big, really large area. I'm gonna go back down though, because I see a little bit of something going on in the center of this place here. Let me see. There's a lot of people, like thousands or millions of people just flowing through the streets. There's something going on. It's in between the center with all the buildings in a circle. There's a lot of people in the streets. There's commotion going on around here. There's a central person. He's that everyone's focused on. It's a brown-skinned man. He's kind of tall or so. He's got on dark clothing. He's kind of in the Middle Ages, maybe anywhere between like 35, 50. Can't really tell, but he's middle-aged. It's like an escalated situation, a lot of movement. Something's really going on right here. I don't know. He seems to be speaking or addressing the people around him about something. He seems to be quite upset. I'm gonna take a look deeper into his mind to see exactly what he's thinking here. He seems to be very upset, very, very determined and serious. A lot of different emotions going on. He's frustrated, but he's afraid. He wants something. He's trying to figure out why something's happening, or why things are how they are, or he's very strong-willed and strong-minded about whatever's going on. Whatever he's talking about is like something's got to be done about the situation. And he's making it very strong mark on it. He appears to be a very calm man, but he's highly upset about something, and it's not in a bad way. He's he might be a very important guy. He wants to make a difference in something, whatever it is. He wants whatever's going on now to not be going on. He's trying to get to the people that's around him. He's trying to talk to them about something important. His personality is very loving and caring, a very serious man, a very nice. He's really nice. He just doesn't like to fight. He doesn't want the fight. Whatever the fight is, he really just wants a change in the world. He wants something to be better than it is now. He just doesn't like the way things are now. So he's just really trying to change. Maybe get into the minds of the people around him. See if he can just make a difference in the world somehow. That's really all I can see about this situation. Again, it's a very urban city environment, and very warm place with a important guy who seems to be the focus of everyone trying to make a difference.
That was PrinCess Jeanéé's first time to remote view Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Since she is so young, it was the first time to meet him, to explore him, to get to know him. He was clearly a man destined to produce a legacy, but when he left this world, killed by an assassin's bullet, what were the events that surrounded this? Whoever shot him appears to have been an expert marksman. One lethal shot is all it took. Was it just a lucky shot? Did the shooter work alone? Was anyone else involved in the planning of the assassination? Well, the official story is that James Earl Ray did everything by himself, from tracking Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. to locating the perfect location from which to do the shooting, to aiming from a considerable distance with stunning accuracy. Let's see how this matches up with what PrinCess saw firsthand as a remote viewer.
Today I am exploring target 32417256. 3. There seems to be a lot more than just one thing happening. There's a lot of different perceptions I'm getting here. I'm not quite sure what order or what particular one I'm supposed to be focusing on. I guess I can feel them all. There's a lot of energy or chaos or whatnot going on. I'm seeing a road of some sort. Oh dear, I'm not the best jar, but you guys get the point. A road of some sort here. I'm getting some cars. On the road. Let me see. It's my car. They seem to be very close to each other, like not even really moving, or if they were moving, they've crashed or something. I'm unsure. But there's a lot of foliage here. In many different places. I'm getting people, buildings, people. I'm gonna move this out the way. A lot of I'm gonna put my probing here. Just yeah, it's everywhere. There are people everywhere. Lots of not in any particular place. There's some buildings. Not many, but they're very low. They're not like a city or like tall city buildings or anything. There's just a lot of things all going all over the place, and just people. They're just swarming, almost like running or moving very fast into the streets. Very angry mob-like, very angry crowd-like. It's a lot of commotion, there's a lot of commotion, and it's so much going on. It's almost difficult to draw, to pay close attention to it, because they're everywhere. Fighting, a lot of I'm unsure if these things are happening in the same place, though. For some reason I'm sensing a lot of different environmental events that are going on right now, and this is just one of them. This is just a lot of action happening right now. It's very angry, a lot of rage, a lot of things. There seems to be a bigger building here, or is it big or wide? It seems to be I don't know what this is, a bigger building here in particular. I guess columns of some sort. Again, I am not your best drawer here. Doors. Whatever's going on in this, there seems to be some type of death event near or in or associated with this building. I'm just gonna draw a dead person. I'm not sure if they're in or out of the building at this moment, but there's something associated with this building here. It's very, everybody's angry. Again, there's so many things happening at once. I'm not sure of the correct order. With remote viewing, you can't really tell what order these things are happening in. You just see it all happening at once. And I'm gonna, there's a lot of foliage, though, a lot of trees, buildings, very, very angry people. There's one person in particular. There's one central subject. There's one central subject in particular that I'm getting focused on, that he's not in the middle of this riot or chaos that all these other people are in, though. He's kind of somewhere else. There's let's see. This person, he seems to be, well, once again, I'm not your best drawer here. He's kind of the central man. He seems to be very important. very brown skin. He's brown or a black person. Forgive my drawing skills. Kindergartner taught me. God, he's very important. Whoever he is, very strong-willed, very a powerful man. Whoever this guy is someone important. I feel a lot more people around him, though. I can't tell if he's being held captive or surrounded or protected, or he doesn't seem to be, he feels safe with who he's with. So they're all dressed in black, though maybe they're his protectors, his bodyguards, guardians, or they're with him to keep him safe. Harm or danger is coming his way. I sense trouble. I don't know if he's in trouble or if he's caused trouble, or it could be a both. These are his protectors. And this is the important guy. The important guy. He's he's formally dressed. They're not, though, or are they? Are they in protective gear? They are. Trying to make sure he doesn't get harmed. Whomever this guy is, we want to keep him safe. Again, I'm not sure if this is going on during the time of all that chaos outside, or there's a lot of different things going on right now that I'm feeling. It's very his personality. Let me get inside his mind real quick. He seems to be kind of very passionate and but he's also passive aggressive. He's very he's trying to change something, or wants a change of some sort. He wants to stay alive. I guess he knows somebody's after him. Seems to be a good-willed person, a strong-willed person. There's just so much going on here. There's all these people. Is he involved in the death event? There's more. It's so much. It's so much chaos, so much burning or fire. Is it caused by that guy, or no, there's more people. It's a bigger swarm of people, but this doesn't seem like the same place where they were before. It seems a different place, or the same. There's buildings, but it's not like where the big building was in my first drawing. Little, I guess, land. This one has a little more bigger buildings than the other one. Some more. But they're broken into, or maybe they're angry. These people, there's so many, it's so much broken trees and fire and buildings that have been broken into or hurt, or there's a lot of, some people have gotten trampled. They're very, very angry people. I don't necessarily know why it's chaos. It's burning and I'm going to use this color here. Burning and breakage, harsh, very harsh environment, a very harsh natural or trees, broken buildings, broken people. It's so much. It's foliage, buildings, trees, chaos everywhere. They're very angry. They're violent. It's scary. Like, I would not want to be in the midst of any of these people right now. But are they trying to make a point? Are they get into the mind? Mindset of the people here. Why? Fight, or stand. There's just so much going around. I can't tell if it has anything to do with that man or if he had anything to do with this. But it's just so much. It's just so much. Okay, so I'm going to follow subject 1 in time and see what's going on there. Following subject 1. Let me see. Let me see what's happening here. He seems to just want to find safety. Let me see. But there's some, he's very anxious. He knows something's getting ready or might be getting ready to happen. There's a death event. Here, let me think. He was shot. The guy, subject 1. He was shot. It's kind of an impact, instant impact, in the chest. you can see him lying. I believe they're still inside the building. I don't think they've left. But his protectors are still there. So how could he have gotten shot if I need to trace the bullet see how he got shot, if his protectors are still there, if they're still in the building. That's something is weird about that. Trace bullet. There seems to be a building. It's not too far from where subject 1 is very from where this guy is. It's not too far from him, maybe a mile or so. But it's a very dark room. So you really can't see much in there. Is there a person? Is there where was the bullet coming from? You can see him. There's a man, tall. Well, everybody's taller than me. A taller man. You see, he about mid-30s maybe. Caucasian guy. He seems to be like a programmed killer. Tapping into his mind. Let me see. Mindset. This new guy, subject 2. Mindset, subject 2. He's very kind of like a trained killer, almost like a military sniper. Whatever the mission was that he was sent on, he was sent to kill subject 1 for whatever reason. Maybe he's a threat or something. A threat to whom? Who would this guy be a threat to? He seems... The riot is set somehow around the death of this man. Again, the killer is very trained, sniper-like, military-like person. Who sent him and why? Why did they, who sent, let me see. Who sent, okay. Sent this guy. I need to find the subjects who sent the killer. We're going to call subject number 1 the prey, and subject number 2 the predator. So I don't get these numbers confused. So who sent the predator to the prey? There's 5, 1, move out of the way. 1, there's a 1, 2, there's 5 people. 5 people. They're kind of sitting in this arrangement here, or standing of some sort. This guy he's the leader. There's one leader. He's the leader, or the boss. The boss. He's the guy in charge. Very well trained, very strict. He white skin. He's almost like very CIA like, very but bad, I guess. Very. Let me see, who are these people? Very like followers, the people who surround this guy, like bodyguard type. Bodyguard, follower. I guess everybody needs a follower. He messenger type. I guess he seems to be the guy that delivers the news, delivers something. But who is he delivering it from to his boss guy? That means there's someone else above him. This guy's a messenger type. This is another killer. I'm guessing this is the, oh, no, this is the same guy. This is the predator. That's where the meeting is taking place. This is our predator, our subject 2, meeting with these guys. This is where it started for him to shoot our prey. Subject 1. Getting information from these guys. Very, they're all follower-like. Very, who sent you guys? Where are you guys? Are you guys in the same location? Same location. Look, where are you? Where are you? Let me see. Structure. His environment is very, very tree-like. A lot of foliage, a lot of water, foliage, trees, large building, large building, but it's hidden. You almost can't see it. It's like the trees are covering it. I can't see any more buildings nearby. What? Let me see. It's a total different place. Like it's not in the same area where the killing took place. It might even be a different city or state. Who? So we have this boss guy. boss guy. We're gonna call subject 3. We're gonna call him boss man. Tap into his head and see what type of person he is. He's a bigger guy, a wider guy, but he's not fat. He's got white skin. He kind of puts you in a mindset of a Sylvester Stallone type person, or what his characters would have been like, with the skin tone and the face, very distinctive face. He's an older guy, like I said, white tannish skin, facial hair. Not a lot, but just enough facial hair. And something about his eyes. His eyes are very very stern. They're very, he means business. You don't want to mess with the guy. He's extremely important, whoever he is. Like, you wouldn't want to get on his bad side. Whomever he is. He has on a black suit or formal attire, very professional like, business like, but he's not even in the same. Who sent you? Is there anybody over him that would send him on this mission, and why? Why do they want this guy dead? We have our prey, which is subject 1, our predator, the killer, and this guy, the boss man over the predator. Boss man. Why do they want you dead? We need to see if there is someone higher level of him, and if there isn't someone higher level of him, I need to go deeper into his timeline to see what has happened. Let me see if there's someone above him. I need to see who sent boss man, subject 3, is there anyone highest level, the highest level meeting, highest with the highest level person. Somebody needs to be over this guy. So highest level meeting with highest level person. There's a building, a building. It's, excuse my drawing here. Let me try that again. A wide and tall building. Trees, big, thick trees. They're not any skinny type trees, but they're everywhere around. We're gonna around, big, like you can't move these. They're hiding this. It appears to look kind of like a warehouse or a factory, an old one though. On the outside, but it's bricked up. You don't see any windows. Barely any windows. You just see the doors. Well, that's not where the door is. You see the doors. We're gonna put knobs there. You do see windows, but they seem shaded over. Places hidden. You wouldn't, if you saw it walking by, you wouldn't necessarily go near it because it looks like completely locked up, boarded up. Almost if you walked inside, pieces could fall on you, but it doesn't look like that on the inside. On the inside of it is very renewed or renovated, very, very office-like floors or levels, very maybe 7, 8 level or story building. It's the complete opposite of what it looks like on the inside. But there's a man in there. He's on the highest floor. The man is on the highest floor, and he's a rather extremely tall guy, white skin. He's older man, older than all these other people, older than the bus guy and the predator. His hair is kind of, it's got some length to it, but not much. Wearing all black. He feels very government-like he's I don't know, government official of some sort. He does something dealing with the people in charge. He helps make the rules. A very straightforward guy. Hold on. We're going to add him to our list of people over here, our list of important people. This guy, the tall man. He's the fourth subject. We're going to call him the head boss, our CEO man. That's the head boss. That's the boss man. So this guy's over this guy. And he's very stern, very straightforward, a man of very few words. He seems to only speak when it's necessary to speak. His situation is that subject 1 is breaking rules or is against what has been said of some sort. He's kind of like the rebel, but the rebel in a good way, and he wants to stop him. He doesn't want him to succeed. Whatever he's fixing, he's causing a stir-up. They gotta stop him. Why? If you've seen the Hunger Games, this guy is very Mockingjay-like. He is taking a stand against whatever laws, rules, or something has been laid down. He's got to go. The head boss pretty much sends a message out to the boss man to kill this guy. And they needed someone super trained that knew how. I'm not sure where they found the predator, who the predator is, but he's a part of that team. And everybody's on this mission to stop a change. And whatever happened here with this death event, it caused, or not necessarily caused, somehow the riot is tied in to this death event. And we're unsure. Oh, are they unsure? No. As a remote viewer, you don't know the timing in which everything happened. You just know that everything's happening. It's a compilation of perception, and I can't tell if they're upset because of the riot or if the riot is happening because of them. But whatever it is, they're all connected. They're all happening. It's a lot. Who knew one guy could cause such trouble? That's about all I can see with everything.
These results, at least to my mind, are very clear. That is, one man was assigned to do the actual shooting in the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. However, these remote viewing data also suggest that the assassin was not working alone, at least in a larger sense. He was a member of a larger group, a group of people who were of a hands-on type, even rough. We can call this group the operational group. They were people who were capable of organizing an assassination of this nature. Moreover, their immediate leader got the orders to carry out the assassination from someone else who does not appear to have been directly associated with the group, someone who wears a suit and has an official sense about him. Moreover, this official type person met the leader of the operational group to give him the group's assignment in a nondescript location, probably as a means of distancing any connection that might be made subsequently between the operational group and whoever the official person answers to. Now, PrinCess did not perceive much more about this official type person, so we are left to wonder how far up the chain of command this goes. But she did resolve, at least from the perspective of these data, the major question of whether or not the gunman acted alone. Whoever he was a sharpshooter, a trained assassin who could accurately shoot from a distance, and while he may have been the only one present when he pulled the trigger, he did not act alone in setting up the job. This was a well-coordinated hit, an assassination that was planned not to go wrong. As is typical of such well-planned executions, part of the plan is always to have a patsy, someone who is fingered to have done the job, someone for which there is evidence that appears as convincing as it is condemning. The reason for having such a person is that any group pulling off such an assassination would not want an actual participant to be captured, for fear that this person could spill the beans at some point, getting them all in trouble. The best patsy is always someone who does not know much. Is that what happened with James Earl Ray? Honestly, I do not know. But given these new data, I do wonder, and it does seem possible.
It was very, very interesting to be able to feel and see it for yourself. You know, if you weren't there, I've met people who were actually there, who walked with him, and I've met people who've been to his speeches and they've talked about it, but to witness it, you know, yourself, I think it's very powerful, a powerful experience to be able to do that, and for it to even be real, because you never really know what the truth is until you see it for yourself. He's who I thought he was. Only a person that thinks that way can cause a big difference in the world. So it doesn't change my view of him at all. I still have the same level of respect for who he is and who he was, what he stands for. And like I said, I'm not big on putting a name on color or on ethnicity, but to actually think of our history and where we come from and what we've been deprived of. People don't think we are capable of doing such great things. I think it'll encourage more African Americans, and not only African Americans, but younger African Americans, to be able to know their own power on what they'll be able to do. I think it'll be a start of something new. In my experiences so far, I'm still very new. I don't necessarily know how to feel about what I'm doing, because I'm still trying to understand how I feel being this person. But to see how new people and who are African American are excited and they want to learn, and I've never even heard about remote viewing, it does make me very excited. It doesn't change how I thought of myself as a spiritual being, because I've always been spiritual. I've always known that, and a lot of people that I know think that way too. So I never thought of it as changing it, more so just learning how to properly use myself. That's the only thing that's different. It's not necessarily, I knew there was more to me than just a body. I know that there's spirits. I know that there's souls. I've always believed in that. The people that I'm around think that way too. So I never thought otherwise. But what it does do is it teaches me to allow my spirit and my spiritual being to do what it's supposed to do, versus what we have learned to suppress as people and as humans. We hear so many things with all the natural disasters or killings of people who changed the world, but none of us really know the truth. We only know what we've been told by media. And so to be there at that instant. Yes, we all know one person shot and killed Martin Luther King, but it wasn't what was told. It was completely different and way more to the story. There's always more to the bottom, to the base of a story. And I feel like everyone should always dig deeper. I was very, I don't know if I was shocked or appalled to better say. I'm unsure of the actual feeling, but I do know it was, wow. Experiencing it on its own was breathtaking and powerful. And when I found out that's what I was doing, I literally talked about it for weeks, because this is something we don't learn anymore. And I noticed during this, interview, you mentioned African American this. How do you feel about being African American that? The first African American this, and it shouldn't matter. I'm not African American. I'm an American. It doesn't matter my skin tone, your skin tone. It doesn't matter. And this is what Martin Luther King was trying to get across to us, that it should not matter what you're calling us. I even on paperwork, I've never put African American. I would put other, because that's not what I am. I'm a brown skinned woman. I'm a black woman, while everyone else here is Martin Luther King is a black man, and no matter who we are, we're all here in this world together, and that's the message he was trying to convey to everyone. And even now, personally, I feel that his death for us was taken for granted, because we are still doing the same things in the world that he was trying to stop. And it should never be based on skin color or where you're from. If you're from Guyana, or if you're from Atlanta, or if you're from Puerto Rico, we're all people. We're all people of color, regardless of, it doesn't make us African American. Whereas if you're from Britain or Atlanta, anywhere, it doesn't mean that you're Caucasian. You're who you are as a person. And I do feel that we all should start to believe and remember and to think that way.
If you have followed many of Farsight's remote viewing projects, you will know that this is not the first time that our results have conflicted with the official story of major events. All this really gives me pause to wonder. If the results of this and other Farsight projects are correct, and I personally believe that they are, since I know how carefully the data were collected, then how much of human existence is controlled by elites who carefully manage what the masses are allowed to know? When something major happens, how often do leaders say, "We can't let people know this. There would be trouble, riots, people would get killed"? How often do leaders trick themselves, justifying lying as a means of helping people? And then, where does this all end? Indeed, it would seem as if there might be an epidemic of manipulation, where elites feel no compulsion to educate the larger populace on this planet about life's major events, but rather seek first to manage the reactions that people have, naively thinking that at some safer point in the future, people could be told the truth. But that never happens. And then people become cynical in large numbers, eventually not believing anything their leaders tell them. Again, I assume that human leaders think that they are helping everyone, even if they are not, by trying to keep the peace by controlling what people know. Perhaps they never accept the fact that they are actually serving their own interests. The life and death of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most signature elements of 20th century history. A moment in time when one man acted to change the world to be a better place. We were a polarized society back then, and in many respects we still are. We still see the world in terms of enemies and friends, the haves and the have-nots, the good and the bad, the controllers and the repressed, those who serve themselves and those who serve others. This polarization is even reflected in our genders, male and female. But Martin Luther King Jr. saw that the world needed to change. It was not that one side needed to win and the other to lose. He saw that the entire polarization business needed to end. People had to come together, to live together, to love together, to be together. He saw a bigger world than most other people in society were capable of seeing. That appears to be his real legacy, not who he was, but what he saw. A future where the polarization ends, where the struggle to dominate yields to a desire to coexist happily. Integration was never about integrating the physical races into one, for there will always be genetic variation in our species. Integration was always about the spirit of humanity. It was always about the spirit. When you see PrinCess Remote View, what you are actually seeing is a person who has learned to blend two aspects of consciousness into one. On one hand, we have the conscious mind that operates from the computational properties of the human brain. While growing up, that conscious mind slowly learns to navigate life's experiences by receiving input from the 5 physical senses of hearing, touch, sight, taste, and smell, and then to sort out what to do at each step along the way using logic and emotion. But before we were who we are now, before we started riding around in these physical bodies, we operated by different rules. We existed differently. What PrinCess has learned how to do is to gradually regain access to how she perceived things before she was PrinCess. She learned how to perceive through her larger or higher self. The polarization of her conscious mind, physical and non-physical, has begun to yield to a more integrated existence. And when that happens, one can remote view. Since she is a human being as much as everyone else on this planet, that means that all of us have experienced this same polarized sense of thought. The more we rely only on the thinking processes of the computationally intensive physical mind, the more we get lost in our own senses, and the more we don't believe that there really is anything more to life than what we see physically around us. And then we feel trapped, afraid, and we feel the need to control our surroundings in order to avoid painful experiences and hopefully experience good things. That is the result of polarization, whether it is in an individual's life or collective society. The ultimate result is a frantic fight to control everything, all driven by fear and the need for domination, each and every time. By showing you that remote viewing is real, PrinCess has actually shown you that the larger vision of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. is real as well. We can live without polarization, without dominating. We can serve ourselves without defeating others. We can serve others without totally denying ourselves the joys of life. We can live lives that are integrated from within. And when we do that, we can see the beauty in how others live their lives, and the others can see the beauty in how we live ours. The spirit, it's all about beauty. As I have said often in the past, keep an open mind. It is something we all need. I am Courtney Brown, Director of the Farsight Institute. Thank you for watching.